Hi everyone. Can everyone see us and hear me?
Yes.
Hi,
welcome to.
Great. Welcome to everyone. Just want to check if Russell is there. Russell,
yeah, I'm here.
You're on mute.
Yeah.
And your video is not on at the moment, so we can't see if you're in front of us. Hi. Welcome, Russell.
Hello.
Good to see you. Thank you for being here. And looks like we've got your treating team. So I'm just going to confirm who we've got. And sorry, treating team, if you can just confirm, just introduce yourselves.
Nuala Moran, psychiatrist at Chandler House.
Thank you. Welcome.
Mel Butter-Williams, psychiatry registrar at Chandler House.
Mark Allen, case manager.
Great, welcome. And just checking that we're not expecting or waiting on anyone else today. No? Okay, great. All right, we'll introduce ourselves and get started. My name is Magda Vysotska and I'm the legal member of the tribunal. Welcome, Russell, and to the treating team this morning.
Good morning, Russell and treating team. My name's Robin Duff. I'm the community member on the tribunal this morning.
Morning.
Good morning, I'm Peter Chairman. I'm the psychiatry member for this morning.
All right. Well, thanks, Russell and team, for being here. So just to confirm, we're here, Russell, because you've made an application to revoke or end the current treatment order that you're on, the community treatment order you're on, which ends in May of this year, 7th of May, I think is the date. So I just wanted to go over a little bit about the hearing and what our role is, just to, I guess, remind you if that's what you like, and then, just how the hearing will proceed. I guess at the outset, I do want to just remind everyone, because I know this might have been an issue in the past, that the tribunal, we have a policy of not recording the hearings. Okay.
Sure. I've got a policy of not being illegally drugged by my government.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here to talk about, Russell, but I do need to state that up front. So, Russell, just to, you probably already know some of this, but I'll go over it. The tribunal, we're independent from your treating team. We don't make the decisions about the type of medication or treatment that you have. We leave those decisions up to your doctors, but our role today is really only to decide whether we should end the treatment order that you're on at the moment or whether it should continue. I know in the report that we received and that you received, there's a reference to a recommendation of a further 26-week treatment order. I just want to confirm that we don't have the power to make another order today. The only thing we can do, as I said, is to either decide to end the current order or confirm it, which means that if we do that, it would continue until its current end date in May. Okay, so just want to make that clear at the outset as well. So we've got, in order to decide what to do, we've got 4 criteria that we need to apply. Russell, are you familiar with that criteria? Do you want me to go over it again for you, or
Please don't.
Okay,
I've heard
that's
that
fine.
many times, and as far as I'm concerned,
I'm sure you have.
I've never been a risk to anyone because I've never assaulted or hurt anyone, so it's just complete abuse.
Okay. All right, I won't go over that then, but just to say that we do have the report, as I mentioned a minute ago, that we've received and read, and as well as some progress notes. And I just want to check, Russell, whether you got a copy of the report.
Yes, I got a copy and I've responded, and there's a lot of lies in that document and I'm not happy with it. Okay.
All right. Well, that's something that we can talk about here as well. We do have the time to do that, and that's why we've got the hearing. So that's good. So in terms of, I guess, just how, I guess the other thing I just want to check is that you were aware you could have a lawyer with you if you wanted, and you are happy to proceed today?
Yeah, look, I've tried to get lawyers, but when you go against the government, no one wants to help you.
Okay. All right, just in terms of the hearing today and how it'll proceed, Russell, we'll have if you're comfortable, we'll have a chat with you first, ask you a few questions. We've all got some, and then we'll move on to your treating team. So we will have a chat with all of them. Obviously, they're going to. 2 weeks to respond. Sorry. Obviously, we'll just wait till that finishes. Obviously, they'll probably say some things that you don't agree with, or you're not happy hearing. We understand that, but we just ask that if you could just wait until we finish speaking to them to respond. That would be really helpful. And then we will come back to you before we take a break and finish the hearing to hear your responses or any final things that you'd like to say.
Sure.
Okay?
Wouldn't it be best for me to actually start If I have a
Yep.
statement?
Yep.
Sure, all right.
You've got a statement, something.
I've got a statement already made, Jess.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I'll just do that for you guys. It only takes 5 minutes. It's already pre-recorded. Because I'm prepared. So let me just have a look here. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Hello. A letter to the world. Truth must be told. This is my story. It is complicated, but it is the truth. And it's time the world understands why I fought the system the way that I did. The beginning and my mission. On June 20th, 1997, at the age of 18, I made a series of life-changing decisions. I left my girlfriend Amanda, and I started a relationship with Elka. Around the same time, I enrolled in a security course through Centrelink in Australia, with the dream of one day working for ASIO. Even back then, I saw the flaws in the system, so I put myself on a mission to understand it, so I could improve it. Elka was an angel in many ways. She pushed me to become a better version of myself, but she was also controlling, a trait that would shape much of what followed. The birth of Consequia. In 2007, I was married and Elka was pregnant with our first child. While managing security at a high-security data center for the ANZ Bank, a simple question changed my life forever. What is mass communication and emergency management in a system? They were referring to EWIS, Emergency Warning Intercommunication System, but in my mind, something far greater was forming. That moment planted the seed for Consequia, a system that would one day revolutionise global security. The turning point. In 2013, I was ready to develop Consequia, but Elka had other plans. She wanted to buy an established company called LMA using our shared money. I was left with nothing but scraps. That decision slowly destroyed our marriage. On January the 10th, 2016, I told Elka I wanted a divorce. A few days later, I suggested marriage cancelling her responsible for me forever. That sounds like a great idea. That way I'll know how to control you while we're divorced. That was the moment I knew there was no hope in fixing our marriage. Months later, in September 2016, we attended counselling. The therapist asked Elka one question. When it was my turn, all I could say was, I just want her to be nice to me. Then I broke down in tears. I left devastated. We never spoke about it again. The night everything changed. On September 18, 2016, after our children had gone to bed, I'd asked Elka to leave the house. She refused. I gently escorted her to the door. I didn't hurt her. I didn't use excessive force, but she started screaming for attention. My oldest son, Jacob, came out of his room. He confronted me and said, Dad, stop. I opened the front door, placed her outside and said, why don't you fuck off and go torment some other poor cunt? That was the last time Elka spoke to me. Minutes later, her parents, Gail and Ron Moore, unlawfully entered my home, attempting to take my children from me, but I stood my ground and they left without the kids. The real conspiracy begins. On October the 4th, 2016, while working in Melbourne, I got a call from my brother. He had gone to pick up the kids from school, only to find that Elka's parents were there, trying to take them away. The kids asked to see me, so the outlaws drove them to my brother's house. By the time I'd arrived home, Ron had came back this time to forcefully remove my children, approximately an hour after dropping them off. A physical altercation followed. My brother called O, but when we went to Lilydale Police Station, Senior Constable Marsman refused to take our statements. Instead, he handed me an intervention order. Just like that, my fate was sealed. That IVO has been active now for 3,102 days, 1 day short of 8.5 years, a sentence for a crime I never committed. Psychological warfare and weaponised lies. On the 5th of October 2016, I took myself to the hospital for help. Within 24 hours, Dr. Shamira of Eastern Health misdiagnosed me with borderline personality disorder, BPD. Then an outright violation of my rights. In an outright violation of my rights, my ex-wife lawyers subpoenaed my medical records. They weaponised them against me. From that moment on, the legal system has systematically destroyed my life. This is parental alienation. This is real. This is a crime against humanity. The day I fought back, on Christmas Day 2017, after more than a year of suffering, I said, fuck you all, I'm fighting back. That was the day I created the Q equation, the foundation for Consequia and the Welton investigation. I have fought ever since. I will fight until the day I die or until I win. The crimes against men. The 3,102 102 days, I have been punished for nothing. For 3,102 days, the system has justified these actions under the guise of justice. For 3,102 days, I have watched as men like me, fathers, husbands, innocent men, end their lives because of the same corruption. 50 men in Australia commit suicide each week due to parental alienation. That is genocide. The government, the courts, and the legal system of Australia are responsible. The demand for justice. Enough is enough. I demand $100 million in compensation for the crimes committed against me. I demand an end to the systemic destruction of fathers, husbands, and men who suffer the same fate. The world needs to wake up. This ends today. I am Russell John White. I am 111% innocent, and I will never stop fighting.
There you go. That's me.
All right. Thank you, Russell. Thanks for sharing that with us and getting us a little bit about a background about what's happened with you.
The truth.
Is there anything that you wanted to say in particular about the treatment order and why you've, apart from what is in the recording, about the treatment order, the criteria, and why you asked for your order to be revoked?
Well, it's completely illegal to start off with. The order was cancelled, and to put the order back on, Eastern Health conspired with Vicpol and illegally smashed down my door with the critical response team over a CTO, which you know and I know is completely illegal. There was no charge. I was detained for a month in Eastern Health under Dr. Shamira again, who's the criminal that started all this. And she lied and said that I've been saying I was threatening to kill people without any proof or evidence. And that was the first tribunal that led to all this, but you didn't listen then, and hopefully you listen today. But the truth is, I am the victim. It is a very, very bad system. I've deliberately done everything that I've done, and I've hurt no one in doing it. I've sent emails to people asking people to do their jobs, and no one wants to do their jobs in this country, unfortunately. They just want to cover up crimes that are actually committed against humanity. The system itself is very terrible. Even this process is completely inappropriate for what it needs to be today in 2025. So I'm an entrepreneur and obviously a critical thinker, and I think that I believe, and a lot of other people believe, that we can do a lot better with this system, which is one of the reasons why I believe that every single interaction with youth people should be recorded for transparency. That way that someone like me has actual protection against what actually happens, because I've been going through this for 8.5 years. And in the 8.5 years I've gone through it, it's gone through many different processes. I remember you used to just call up on a phone and have a phone conversation with someone, and that phone conversation determined your fate. Now you're using Microsoft Teams and everything because of COVID and everything else. There's been a massive shift. But as I said, technology is going to lead the future. I am a technology person. We will obviously discuss more about that today. And I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I've never hurt anyone. I've done a deliberate audit of the system. And I just happen to have a very good idea on how to improve the system thereafter. So my theory was, there's no point destroying anything unless you've actually got something to replace it with. And that's effectively what I'm trying to do with Consequia. And I just fundamentally am an innocent man just destroyed by the system, believe it or not, because it is very one-sided and very feminist, and quite simply, it's just disgusting.
Okay. Thank you, Russell. I might pass on, if you're open to answering a few more questions, I might pass on now to Robin, our community member.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks.
Hi, Russell.
Hello.
Hi. Russell, it sounds very much like you've been through a very tough time from how you describe it. Yeah. Okay. Are you having any contact with your children now?
My eldest gives me messages and phone calls every now and again, but he got in trouble for it recently because his mum found out. So his mum is a controlling narcissist, as I said, and she doesn't want him to have any contact with me at all. So she's, even though he's allowed to speak to me, so it's very complicated.
It is complicated, isn't it? How old is he now?
17.
17, yeah. So he's getting to the point where he's nearly able to make decisions for himself at 18, isn't he? So
yeah, but I've lost 8.5 years of their lives. I've lost all their childhood, and that's the reason why you become a father. And I've lost
in the future, what would you like to be doing with your kids?
Going camping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. Yep. Right. Okay. So that'd be great to be able to work on that, because, as I said, he's getting to the age where he can make a decision for himself, the older boy, and so that will make it easier for you, I will imagine. So, okay. Now back to the tribunal hearing. I just wanted to go through the criteria with you, because we need to hear from you exactly what you think. Do you think that you've ever had any problems with your thoughts or your mood?
Oh, look, when you go through this process, of course you do.
Yeah,
Of course you
of
do.
course.
Of course
Yeah.
you do.
Okay.
I mean, but that doesn't mean you're going to hurt people. And when you go
No.
when you go to people like yourselves and you're honest, and
Mhm.
and then you kind of you expose yourself, and then it gets written down and used against you and weaponized in lies. It's just disgusting.
Okay. But it sounds like you've been into some depths in your life. You've been very down at times, and that's been, you've asked for help quite appropriately. You said you took yourself to hospital, yeah, and that was
That's
very
right, anyway.
appropriate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So what your argument really is, by the sound of it, that okay, you might have had some sort of mental illness in the past, but that now you're saying you're not at risk to anyone else. What about your own mental health? That might be an argument that,
Yeah, look,
that your mental health would suffer if you didn't get any treatment.
no,
What do you
look,
think of that?
well, I think that a lot of when you talk about Alka and how Alka would suffer, I don't think Alka's suffered at all in comparison to the amount that I've suffered. And I think we need to put that into perspective, especially moving forward, because I think we need to start talking about equality and changing the laws so that they're actually the same, whether you're male or female. And I think that once we do that, I think we'll start to actually get real improvement, because at the moment, no offence, these processes are killing men. Now, the statistics are real. 50 men a week are killing themselves.
I heard you say that
Yeah.
earlier, so yeah. But I guess I'm more interested in the criteria as it relates to you. That's today.
Which specific criteria do you want to know about? The harm to someone else?
No, I'm interested to know whether you think your mental health would suffer if you didn't have any treatment.
No, I'd be much better. To
Okay.
tell you the truth, I don't mind meeting with people, but I don't like meeting people and getting drugged and controlled. Like, if you people wanted to meet me in a professional sense and have a conversation, I'd be very open to that. But to do it the way that you're doing it, because it's illegal to start off with, is just completely inappropriate and it's unconstitutional.
Okay. Just okay. So coming back to the treatment you're receiving a depot medication.
Yes.
And if you were voluntary, I'm taking from what you've said that you wouldn't have that depot medication anymore. Is that correct?
Yeah, look, to tell you the truth, I don't need it. I self-medicate. I take medical marijuana. I smoke medical marijuana, and it's all legit. And to tell you the truth, that's all I feel I need. I don't feel like I need antipsychotics. If I ever felt that I needed antipsychotics, I'm smart enough to say I need antipsychotics. As I said, I went to the hospital, I asked for help, and this is what's happened. So I've gone through the process, even though I used to work in the hospital as well. So I don't think you knew that. I used to work at Eastern Health, and yeah, as I said, I knew what I was getting myself into. But as I said, I just never thought the consequences would be so severe on me, because, as I said, I've never committed a crime.
What was your job at Eastern Health?
Oh, security.
Ah, right. Okay. Yep. Okay. So medical marijuana, how does it help you?
It acts like Valium. You don't give people Valium because people get addicted to it. But for me, it's just like Valium. I just have a billy or a joint or a gummy or a little bit of oil. So, as I said, I've got a couple of products, and yeah, it just relaxes me. That's how I regulate my own emotions, because I've learnt so well over this process that I definitely know what I'm doing. As I said, I've had to I had a complete breakdown. There's no doubt about that. But I've completely rebuilt myself, and it wasn't you guys that did it. I had to do it myself.
Okay. When is your understanding of the complete breakdown that you had? When did that occur?
Oh, look, I would say over the end of 2020 and the start of 2021 was when they locked me up. I still wasn't a risk to anyone, because all I did was I went down to Lilydale, where I had friends, to see friends, and I'd sent a few messages just saying to my ex-wife that I wanted to kind of, resolve the situation. There was no threat or harm, but she said that she felt scared and that was enough, and I got thrown in jail for 90 days. That's completely excessive. I've been
And that was
treated very
because
poorly. And not only that, I have to mention, over an IVO breach, they threw me in seclusion for 10 days at the start at the Melbourne Assessment Prison Level 5 and fed me boiled eggs through a door, stripped me naked, made me, I won't go further, but yeah, it was disgusting.
Yeah, very tough. Okay.
Yeah, but all over an IVO breach, as I said, there's a lot more to this.
It is important to know that IVO breaches, I mean, you know better than anyone, are taken very, very seriously. So, yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Obviously.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Okay,
Totally disproportionate.
Okay. I hear what you're saying. I'm coming back to what would happen if you stopped taking the depot. Do you think there'd be any change in your mental state and how you are?
No, not at all. As I said, the medicine, I'll be honest with you, out of all the medicines that you've given me, it's the best one. But as I said, I'll be honest with you, right? But if I don't want to be drugged anymore because I don't feel that I need it, I should be able to be given that right, because I've never assaulted or hurt anyone. All I've done is sent emails asking people to do their jobs.
Okay, so why is it the best? What makes you say it's the best that you've had so far?
Oh, look, after coming off the haloperidol, anything would have been better.
Okay.
You know what I mean? That stuff, you should really stop giving people that stuff, because that's disgusting, especially the way people walk around and talk and act after it. That's just muting people. So this obviously doesn't have that same type of effect.
Okay.
But it has a negative effect on my legs. Like, my legs kind of seize up and cramp up, and I get like cramps in my legs. When I was on the haloperidol, I used to get a lot of gout, and I occasionally get gout when I'm on this, not as much, but it's just another side effect of it. And gout is painful, yeah.
Yes, your GP treats that, do they?
Well, yeah, I just treated it. I've just got medication. He's already said to me, if you ever get gout again, you take these tablets and blah, 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 go through the process, but it's still very painful.
Yeah.
But that's a side effect of it.
Okay, so you think that it would stop the pain in your legs if you stopped the aripiprazole, but it wouldn't have any other effects on your mental state, for instance?
No, look, as I said, because I smoke marijuana, I already have something there that's giving me a natural, relaxant. You know what I mean? So I don't need antipsychotic, because I can just, transfer it to obviously having some medical marijuana.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Russell, for answering all my questions. I'll hand over to Peter now, and he might have some questions for you or for the treating team. Thanks.
Thanks, Robin. Russell, I've listened carefully and made notes on what you've been telling us through Robin. I'm curious, I mean, with your experience of the system and tribunals, you're aware that most of the things you're talking about really have to be sorted out with the treating team. I mean, it's the treating team that makes the decisions about what treatment, particularly under an order that they would advise if you're voluntary, and under an order that they can compel you to have. So I'm quite curious, how long have you known Dr. Moran, your present psychiatrist?
We had a meeting the other month, and it didn't go too well. I tried to say that I didn't want to be drugged anymore, and she tried to say that I didn't have a choice. And it didn't really kick off too well from there. Let's be honest.
So have you only met Dr. Miranda once?
Dr. Miranda once, but to tell you the truth, mate, as I said, you're talking about how I'm on an order. I'm talking about how I shouldn't be on the order in the first place.
Yeah, but the current psychiatrist, the current authorised psychiatrist in your case is Dr. Moran. So, when you were saying how they don't listen to you and stuff, I'm not trying to play a trick on you here. I'm curious as to whether you put these views that you've shared with the tribunal clearly to Dr. Moran.
Yes, clearly.
I see, and you weren't satisfied with the response. You didn't think she understood.
No, she's got her own agenda.
Right, I see. Well, one of the things I'd like to know from you, and in a minute I intend to go on obviously and check how Dr. Moran sees it, is I should explain that I know the mental health, well, what I would prefer to call the psychiatric treatment system, because I think that's more honest, pretty well. And I've seen it do a lot of good, and I see it has a lot of problems.
Yes, thank you.
I'm sure you've had all sorts of issues over the years, particularly with the sort of nature of your situation. But the other side of it is what's actually going on with you. And yes, so what I understand, you've said several times that you don't pose a risk to anyone. Did you have that discussion with Dr. Moran?
I told you, on an illegal order, I don't want to speak to Dr. Moran. I don't want to be on any order. All right? I don't want to be psychoanalyzed by anybody.
Right.
Okay, including yourself.
All right.
Okay.
All right. You don't want to talk to me? Fine. Okay.
No. I'm trying to say, I don't want to be psychoanalyzed. I just want to have a conversation. You're trying to say to me that I should give her a go. I don't want to be on the order at all. I think it's illegal.
See, Russell, I think you're very good at projecting onto other people what you do. See, you're weaponising what I said now.
I'm weaponising.
And I'm not interested in that, right?
Oh, okay. Look, all I'm going to say is this. All right? I'm being analysed by you people. Let's be honest. That's what I'm doing. Right? You're analysing me. I'm analysing you back. All right? Because I've been through the system for a very long time. Now, you can make up any excuses you really want to justify your actions because it's your career. But at the end of the day, I don't believe in what you do and what you do for a living because I believe the system is broken completely and I believe it needs to be fixed. And I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm not going to hurt anyone by doing that, but I'm going to do a process, and that process is what I'm doing. I've never hurt anyone. I'm never going to.
Okay, Russell, I've got your message, mate. I'd like to ask Dr. Moran a couple of things about it, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I really think I've heard I think I've got where you're coming from. Without psychoanalyzing you, I've just been listening to what you're saying. So, Dr. Moran, can I check? It's clear that what Russell feels and thinks, and it's clear that it would appear clear that the mental health system and his assessments see him as having false beliefs, paranoid beliefs. Now, let's leave those aside. And he's at cross purposes with the system that's trying to treat him, is the way I hear it. What I'm curious about is, or would like to understand better in terms of our job here today, is what is the risk? What do you see as the risks of if Russell wasn't having his depot aripiprazole?
I suppose the main risk is of further deterioration in his mental state. He's currently, we all know, he's been diagnosed with a psychotic disorder and he's on antipsychotic medication now. And historically, if we look back over the last few years, it seems that Russell's, preoccupation with all his perception of the injustices perpetrated upon him by various systems, mental health and legal systems. He seems to be less preoccupied with those when he's treated with medication. There's fewer emails sent. I mean, you probably know that Russell sends multiple emails and correspondences of various kind to multiple agencies. And we know that over the last few years, well, since 2020, since he's been on medication, that he's had fewer admissions as well. He hasn't had very many admissions. He had a brief admission to Wonthaggi, I think, in was it 22, 23, and when he was transferred then from Wonthaggi to Yarra Ranges, and it was after he was discharged by Yarra Ranges in March 2024, he ceased medication. And it's my understanding, that there was towards the end of last year, there was a re-emergence of all the emails, which included threats, mainly of legal action against various people, clinicians. So yeah, that's the deterioration in his mental health with subsequent hospitalisation, which is what happened back in October, November 24. And I guess the contact with the risk to other people, we know that in the past, Russell has made various threats against individuals and services, which causes distress to them and has resulted in, legal consequences. Russell is also talking about going to the States to contact Donald Trump, who he claims to be in contact with, and he has hopes to go to the States after April. That's if his IVO is revoked in April. So yeah, further deterioration and all of that, I think, that they are the main risks.
I see.
Okay. Anyway.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. So the plan would be to continue the current depot.
Yeah, well, I'm looking into that at the moment. I'm trying to get further information on Russell's response to the previous depot. I've contacted Wonthaggi, but haven't heard back from them about that.
Which one was that?
Russell was treated with Haldol in the past, but
that's
that
the one he hates. That's not going to please him, is it?
Well, I just wanted to find out exactly what their impression was. Yeah.
I see.
We can talk to Russell about that in due course.
Yeah.
As Russell said, he's only been with us for a brief period of time. Russell was transferred to this clinic because of difficulties he had with the psychiatrist and treating team at Yarra Ranges, and particularly the frequency of emails and threats and hostility towards that team. So I guess he has been sent to us for a second chance to see if we can work a bit more, I suppose, collaboratively with him. And so far, I think it's, I found my contact with Russell went reasonably well. I heard what he said about it. We've difference of opinion there, but it's early days, and we want to continue working with Russell.
Thanks, Dr.
Can I retort?
Yes, Russell.
I find it insulting after what I said that she would even attempt to even try to bring up that medication. That is just narcissistic in my belief. That after I just said the damage that it did to me, that she would actually want to put that stuff back in my system. So I have no faith in her as a psychiatrist.
Russell, that's not what I said.
I have no faith.
I wanted to get more information
in you as a psychiatrist at all. I have none.
That's okay.
See, Russell, you don't think, in the interest of facilitating the system, you don't think this might be a good example about how you kind of take things a bit the wrong way?
No, not at all. That lady just made mention that she wants to speak to the people that were drugging me illegally as I said, this whole process is illegal. I've never done anything to hurt anyone. I've done a legitimate attempt to try to get my life back and go through a process where I'm auditing the government, trying to prove that there's no method to your madness, and there isn't. The reality is, after what I've been through, and only I can state it, obviously, because I'm the only person that's been through it, but I'm telling you now, the systems in place are currently inadequate, and what you're doing to me is a human rights violation, and any treatment further with that lady would be a violation of my human rights.
Have you had any conversations with the case manager? I think Mark.
I like Mark.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's no issue with Mark.
So you've known Mark for the same short period of time, have you?
I've known Mark for the same short period of time. I think Mark is exceptional, but the problem is Mark has no say. Mark is just a puppet. He doesn't. He doesn't have any say. He just does what he's told. He just.
Well, I'm going to give him a go.
Yeah, no, Mark's great. You can.
If I was in Mark's shoes, I don't know whether I'd risk having a say with you, but we'll see. Sorry, that was a sort of a joke.
No, I don't mind a bit of humour, mate. It's okay.
Oh, that's okay, because I was a bit worried. Yeah, I said, yeah, all right,
no,
thanks.
All right.
So let's hear if Mark can give us anything to help us understand. Is that all right?
Yeah, no, I'm happy to.
Good.
Yeah.
That's good news, Russell. Okay, Mark, is there anything you feel you could contribute without disrupting your relations with Russell? You're on mute, Mark.
He kicked himself off. That's funny. Oh, that's great.
We'll get him back on once he comes back in.
Yeah, that's funny. Look, I know that you're trying to do the right thing while Mark's not here, but really, I've never hurt anyone, and I don't deserve this, mate. And I'm actually a really nice guy, and I just want my life back. And I don't want to be psychoanalyzed by people that think they know better, and people that want to drug me on things that were quite detrimental to my health. You know what I mean? Like, even to bring it up is just an insult. Anyway,
I've got Mark back. He's back.
Here he is.
I'm so sorry, Peter. That wasn't my intention. I wasn't being avoidant. I pressed the wrong button. Tried to
Russell,
unmute.
I got worried you got scared. Yeah.
Look, I feel I'm fairly at the beginning of my relationship with Russell too, but we've had some fertile conversations. He has shared or pointed towards some of the documentation that he's prepared with regard to consequia and the Q equation. The Q equation in particular is way beyond my capacity to make any judgments about at all. But I do have some sympathy for the overall agenda of the consequia. It seems to be a very scholarly document with reference to current issues within governance and the internet, and it also makes reference to various algorithms that have guided Russell's thinking, if I'm correct. However, I have given Russell feedback that, from my limited understanding, that perhaps his agenda is rather too overarching and blue sky thinking to be something that would arrive in governmental uptake, and particularly between governments. I've reflected that it's difficult sometimes to get people within governments to agree, and certainly to have all governments signing up to a system like consequia seems to be a bit of a stretch. But look, I do think that the overarching beliefs that drive consequia have some merit. And they seem very articulate. Now, I understand that he's used ChatGTP as a tool to assist him in creating those documents, and I have no idea how much of an input ChatGTP had and how much of input Russell had. But as I say, the documents do seem to be quite internally consistent. Russell has, in conversation with me, shared the perspectives that he's sharing with you today about his beliefs that there's an overriding government conspiracy to silence him, and I've struggled to accept that belief has justification or rigor. But I do understand that he's been through the family court system, that he feels very invalidated by the outcome of what's happened with the family court so far. And I hope that he reaches some resolution with that so that he gets more free access to his children.
So in the conversations that you've had so far, the thing that I'm sort of getting a sense of with Russell is that he's got a lot of sort of in depth about all the sort of systemic problems in the world and so on. And we certainly would all agree, I think, that most of us would, that there are huge problems. But what my concern is that with all the attempts that you and other teams have made to help him and so on, that it doesn't end up helping Russell. Like, he doesn't get it. And it seems to me that Russell actually ends up seeing the failure to get what he wants as proof of the conspiracy that he believes in. And this very hearing is a further example of it. And there's something up with the way Russell isn't seeing the actual reality he's dealing with, do you think?
Well, I do think it would be helpful, and I have offered this to Russell, and so far he's declined. But I have suggested to Russell that perhaps it would be worth, whilst he has fierce disagreement with what the system is saying, that he takes a look at some of the documentation around his previous admissions and the time that he spent in Thomas Embling Hospital, where there was the opportunity for clinical staff to have quite extended conversations with him, and that their impressions of what they saw support the current position of the treating team.
Yeah.
So
okay.
I would love to have that opportunity to have him.
Yeah, right. What do you want to say, Russell?
Yeah, look, the equation, which is what this is all about. Let's just be honest, yeah?
No, Russell, sorry. We're not going to have time to discuss this in this forum. This is what I meant about you got to sort stuff out with the team you're working with. In the hearing, we're not going to have time to deal with the equation. There's a sort of key point.
You're cutting me off before I even finished.
Sorry, Russell.
You're cutting me off before I even finished, mate.
No, go ahead. I thought you were going to get into explaining the equation.
We're not. You're talking about the Thomas Embling Hospital, yes? So I was going to talk about that.
No, Mark. No, that was Mark. I don't want to talk about Thomas Embling. That's something that Mark would like to talk with you about, right?
Well,
what I want to talk to you about is that you keep taking things up, and you've got some good points, and then you sort of seem to me to lose track of what the real issue is for you today. Now, the real issue for you today is that you want to not have all these orders and not be given depot, I think.
That's it.
You want your ideas to be respected, right?
That's right, 100%.
Yeah, well, somehow, the way you do things gets people scared and gets them worried that you're not well and all this stuff. And I don't think you get what you're doing that gets people upset.
I am trying to get my life back, sir. Now, that is a very difficult process in our government. You just said before that the system's quite complicated and corrupt.
It is.
Yeah, and I'm trying to do the right thing, mate. I have never hurt anyone. All right, I'm trying to do the right thing in a very broken process.
Okay. Look, I think I've had more than my share, Russell, and I appreciate your patience. I believe that we've got a picture here, and I have a sense you might get some benefit if you and Mark could continue your conversations, but that's between the two of you. I'd like to hand back to Magda now, and thank you, Russell, and thanks, Mark, and thanks, Dr. Moran.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks very much, Peter. Robin, do you have any questions for anyone in the trading team?
I'm just wondering if Dr. Mel wanted to add anything.
Oh, yeah.
Not at this stage, Roman. I think Dr. Moran and Mark have covered most aspects.
Thank you. No, I don't have any further questions. Thanks.
No, all right. I don't have any questions of the treating team either, but thank you to all of you for answering all the questions posed to you. Russell, I mean, you've made your views really clear throughout. I guess, you've got an opportunity to say anything else that you'd like. Obviously, there's a big difference of opinion, nothing that can be resolved at the hearing. It's really great to hear that you and Mark seem to have a pretty good relationship though so far, which is good. I mean, one of the things that we heard today is, I know that your big focus has been on about harm to others and not having harmed anyone, and we've definitely heard that. One of the things, as Robin mentioned to you, is also something that we have to consider is, if you stop taking treatment, stop having treatment, would your mental health get worse? And I know you've given a view about that. We've also heard externally from objectively, other documentation indicating that it has gotten worse in the last year, and you ended up being in hospital.
Can I, as you're talking about?
Yeah. That's that. I'm opening it for you to see if
that was completely illegal, as I've touched on. And I've given you all the information. Okay. I've sent you information via email. Did you see the information via email that I sent prior?
No, we did not. When did you send that?
Oh, that's the thing. So I've sent information prior. I had sent recorded conversations that you were supposed to listen to, everything to your through to your email account. I'd requested you guys to have access to all that information prior to today. And so the fact that hasn't happened just proves my argument.
All right. Sorry, Mel, did you want to jump?
I just wanted to butt in there. There might be a misunderstanding about where those emails have been sent. I think, Russell, you've sent some communications to our medico-legal office at Eastern Health rather than the MHT registry email.
Yeah, I did. So there were some emails that you'd sent, Russell, that were contained in the progress notes. So we definitely had access to those and saw those. But we would usually get any emails sent to the registry of the tribunal, which is separate from the medico-legal coordinator of Eastern Health. But sometimes if they're sent late, the day before hearing, we don't necessarily get those.
No, they were sent with prior heaps of notice. There's no reason why they couldn't have been.
So there might have been. They might have been sent to, as Mel said, to that other contact. But if that was the case and they're in the progress notes, and then we did have a look at those.
Yeah. Okay. So look, in stating that, I wrote in that a pretty good argument, and there was about 11 dot points, and one of them was the illegal arrest of me, and the fact that Eastern Health had conspired with Vic Police to actually sent 3 police negotiators to my house, a CAT team member. I wouldn't talk to them because I knew what they were there for, so I just shut the door. But they fortified the residence, they sieged the house, and they made up a false charge that I still haven't received to smash down my door, then detain me in Maroondah Health for a month. And that has led to this. So the whole thing is completely inappropriate, and I would like it to end today. Thank you.
Russell, when did this occur?
22nd of October.
Yeah, well, Russell, that's the sort of thing, that's the sort of incident, sorry, Magla, that's a good example of the sort of incident where I think you get things a bit wrong. I don't dispute what you're saying happened, but your explanation for it doesn't actually work. And that's the sort of thing that if you were open to it, Mark particularly, given that you're perhaps a bit more partial with the same gender, might really help you come to grips with. Things went badly wrong for you then, but the interpretation you put on it is not going to serve you well for the future, to just keep blaming the police and the mental health team.
That's what actually happened. So you can make.
No, it happened, but the reasons you have, the way you understand it, isn't quite right, in my view. And it
weren't
would do you
there.
well if you could come to understand it better while you're nice and calm on the depot medication. And Mark might be the person that could help you with that. I put that
Well, I
as a sincere
completely disagree with
suggestion to you.
I'm sorry, but
All right.
I completely disagree with you, sir.
That's okay, Russell. I've got to respect your view. That's fine, mate. I'm just trying to be helpful. Okay.
Thanks, Peter.
Sorry, Magda.
No, that's fine. Mel, sorry, is your hand up for another? Oh, just from the past? Okay, no worries. All right, look, I don't think we have any further questions. I think we're pretty much
I've actually got a few more things to say.
Sure, Russell.
Honestly, it's got to the point where I'm going to have to leave my state because of you people. That's basically where it's at. If you continue the order on me, I am going to leave this state. And then from another state, I'll then go from that state to America later on down the track. But if you continue the order on me unlawfully, I'm going to leave the state. So it's up to you. Or you can stop drugging me, and me and Mark can have further conversations whenever he wants to. And whenever you want to meet with me and Mark can liaise and we can have conversations. But I don't like how psychiatrists think that they can just drug people, and even if they've done nothing wrong, and even when they're trying to prove their innocence, they think that they have some right to drug me. No one has their right to drug me. I am completely innocent, and I am sick of being drugged and controlled by the government. And whether you want to admit it or not, there is a conspiracy in this case, and I don't care if you don't believe me, because I'm the only person that knows, and I would like an end to this abuse. Now, this abuse has gone on for 8.5 years. 8.5 years. So when I go back to court on the 1st of the 4th, it'll be 1 day shy of 8.5 years, 3,102 days, and I've never committed a crime. This is a complete, totally unconstitutional system. The abuse that I've received and copped is completely disproportionate. I should be allowed to send emails to the government if they have destroyed my life for me to do what I've done, because all I'm doing is trying to get my life back. I've tried to go to lawyers. I have to say this. I've tried to go to lawyers. No one will take my case because no one will go against the government. Now, that is just a fact. Now, I'm completely innocent. As I said, I would like my life back. I will liaise with Mark, as I said, perfectly. And moving forward, I don't want any drugs. If you drug me, I'm going to leave the state. And that's the rest of it, okay?
All right, that's clear. Thank you, Russell. And thank you to the treating team. We do need a break to discuss what we've heard and read from all the other sources. So we will do that now. Just go offline. I'll be back in a few minutes.
All right, thank you.
Once we've come our outcome. Thanks, everyone. See you shortly.
Thank you all.
Astronauts meeting to me. Sorry, I'm in the middle of this tribunal too. So.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for waiting. I think we're just waiting for Peter to rejoin us, and here he is.
Thanks.
Great. All right. Thanks again for waiting, and thanks again, Russell, for speaking with us, as well as to the trading team. It's been very valuable to hear all of your views, and even though they are very different views, hope that it's also been valuable for everyone to listen to each other at the hearing today as well. We've listened to what you've said, obviously, Russell, and to the trading team. And as I said, we've also had the report and the progress notes that we've considered. On the basis of that, we came to the conclusion that we have had to confirm the treatment order, which means that the treatment order will continue until its end date of the 7th of May. We spoke about the 4 criteria earlier, Russell, and we were satisfied that all 4 criteria had been met.
Am I allowed to retort, or are you just going to keep talking?
You can say something. Well, I don't want to say any more. I mean, I just wanted to say that, but also just note that you have only just, as we understand, only just come to meet this trading team now, and we understand. It's
illegal. The whole thing's illegal.
Again,
miss.
We really hope that.
No, seriously,
there might be some time.
No, I want to have.
Yeah, well, if you can let me finish, Russell, I can give you some time. We've given you quite a lot of
time.
Okay,
fair enough.
But I'd like
if I'm going to get time to finish at the phone, that's fine.
Sure. The only thing that I wanted to say is, if you can just give this trading team that you've only just met a chance. It sounds like you and Mark have started to develop some rapport and have, seem to be getting along, and we really encourage you to follow up on that. And Mark's given some suggestions about possibly having a look at some other documentation about things that have happened in the past that might perhaps challenge your views about those things, and we just would encourage you to be open to that and to other suggestions that Mark might have. Okay, because we just want to encourage that relationship.
Well, I'm just going to have to say this. I completely disagree. There is no relationship from this point moving forward. See you later, Mark. I'm sorry, mate. It's over, buddy. There's nothing at the end of this. I'm going to another state because you are oppressing me. I've already arranged it. So I'll go to Queensland, and then from Queensland, I'll go to America. So that's what you've done. You've made me leave my state so that I don't have to be illegally drugged by you people. How sad is that?
Okay.
How sad is that? And I'm recording this, and I am going to post it online, and I'm going to let everyone know. Because you know what it is? People need to know the truth about what you people do and how you do it. Because I've never committed a crime. And look at the abuse.
No one, and that's not what this was about, Russell.
It
wasn't about whether you committed a crime.
No, seriously, the abuse of the system is disgusting, and you are enabling that lady. And she even said that she wants to change my medication. She wants to speak to them.
She did not say that, Russell.
Oh, bullshit. She goes, I want to speak to them. She goes, I want to speak to them about the medication. Now, she speaks to them about the medication. Russell. She wants me on the medication. I don't want on any medication.
Russell, please have a listen to the recording. She did not say that. So have a listen, and you will be clearer about what Dr. Moran said.
I know what Dr. Moran said. This is an absolute biased prejudice.
Russell,
it is disgusting. And I'm not going to comply. I'm not going to comply.
That's okay. I don't think we can take this any further today.
Sure, have a nice day.
We've made our
very
decision.
Disappointing, and you are
understand that, Russell, and you
very
do have
bad
some
people. There's no legal anything. That's the problem. Okay. There's no legal anything. You are corrupt,
all right.
And I am going to expose you
Thank
all.
You.
Fuck you. Goodbye. Have a nice day.